Hi, this is Chris, and this is the Budget Dungeon. This week we're going to do something a little bit different. Um, yeah, I know we've all been there where we're playing a game or what have you, and we roll the dice, and the dice go tumbling off the table. Um, and it can be very frustrating when we're trying to get something accomplished, and it always seems that the die that falls on the floor is the highest roll you've had all night, and it usually ends up not counting because it's not on play service. So this week, what we're going to do is we're going to make a dice tray. This was actually inspired by somebody in one of the groups that I participate in. Her name is Katie Owning, and she is a woodworker, and she made this out of a solid piece of walnut, I believe. Really good work. Really nice. So when I saw that, I said, I could do this as a budget project, and she agreed to allow me to do that. I am not getting compensated for giving her a shout out in any way, but she is a small business, and I believe firmly in supporting small businesses, especially with the state that our economy is in right now. Small businesses really need your help. So I would encourage you, if you see this, go down to the description, and a link to her website will be there. And if you can, support her. She does really good work, and it looks like it's really high quality. So, all that being said, we are going to be making a dice tray today. For this, I did have to pick up a couple of things from my favorite place, the dollar store. I picked up a piece of adhesive cork, a nice flimsy little cork. This is going to be the rolling surface for our dice. I also picked up a little, uh, it's like a little tray basket thing. I popped the sides and the handles off of it already because I needed it to measure out some guides. But the part that I really wanted was this. And this is actually going to end up being a top that holds everything inside of it so that we can transport it without having to carry extra stuff. Um, so, a few tools we're going to need. Obviously, we're going to need our X-Acto knife today. We are going to need our hole saw. Maybe, maybe not. I haven't really decided on that one yet. This project's going to be a little bit different because I haven't actually made one yet. So I'm actually going to be doing this on the fly with you today. We are also going to be using Loctite. Very, very good adhesive, especially for foam board, which is the other main item that we're going to be using today. I have already cut some pieces out to spec, just to save a little bit of time and save you from sitting here watching me cut up foam board. So we're going to go with a 1/4 inch base. This foam board can be gotten from the dollar store. It is 1/8 of an inch in depth. So two of those is 1/4 of an inch. So to start out, uh, after we've got our pieces cut, we want to peel the layering, the paper layer off. This reveals the pure foam underneath, and it allows it to adhere a lot better. Also, as we're putting other stuff on it, whether it's paint, other items like the cork, it really helps it bond a lot better, and it holds up really, really well. So on one of my bases, I went ahead and left the paper on the bottom. That'll serve as kind of a anti-skid when we place it down. Um, there are two different types of foam board you can get. One has white paper on it. The other has black paper on it. I've used the black paper before, and that usually comes off extremely easy. If you notice the white, it has a habit of ripping, so it's a little bit harder to do. So I'm going to take my two bases, I'm going to put them together. I'm going to take a nice healthy dose of Loctite. I'm going to get some of that on there. It's not an exact science. You just squeeze some out of the tube. And then what I usually do is I either use a scraper or a X-Acto knife or a putty knife, and I smear it around. So I get a nice bonding layer. The nice thing about Loctite versus hot glue or crazy glue or anything like that is you actually have a little bit of time to work with it, but it still bonds really, really quick. And it makes a nice connection once you get it all lined up. So there we have that. And as you can see, it is already starting to bond really good. After it is sat for a while, it'll be basically unbreakable. I was going to say indestructible, but I mean, it is foam board, so it will break, but it bonds really well. So I'm using the piece of board that I'm going to be using for the top to cut out the piece of cork that I need. And you just want to start in a corner so you have a nice square shape, and then just go right down the side of the piece of wood. And it should come right out. And if it's not exactly perfect, that's okay, because the seam is actually going to be covered by the sides of foam board that we put on it. So we peel off the backing. Now with this, I always recommend that if you're doing something that has a peel off self-stick backing, that you just peel down a little bit. That way you can get it lined up where you want it. I want that right on the edge. And then you just grab and you pull. And that gives us a nice, straight, non-bowed up right there. Okay, so we'll set that off to the side now. Other pieces that I went ahead and cut. I've got my sides. So these will go here and here, like that. I've got my front and my back. And I have, you'll notice here, I've got front 1 and back 1, front 2 and back 2. I take these and put them together. You'll notice that the 2s are a little bit smaller, and that's because they're going to be on the inside and not the outside. That will make more sense here in just a moment. So now that I've got that together, I'm going to peel off one of my sides. I always like to start on a side because the front and the back are actually going to go over the this part here on the sides. So peel that off. I'm going to throw some Loctite on it. Oh, you can hear my daughter in the background. She has decided that she needs my help. I don't know what she needs my help with. I think Mom's going to take care of that. You know, the great thing about doing this stuff at home is you always get to hear my children in the background, especially my daughter. She is adorable. Okay, so we're going to line this up here. We want to make sure that we are as flush as we can get. So there we go. We now have one side. We will then take one of our inside pieces. Since we've already got the Loctite on the top. And this will help with making sure that we keep this upright. And there we go with that. Move it around just a little bit. Like I said, you get a little bit of time to play with this. It doesn't bond as fast as super glue or hot glue. The idea here is we want to make sure that it stays nice and tight. So we've got that. And you'll notice here that we are well above the line there, which is fine. We will be taking care of that. Turn a little bit. I just need to make sure we bond a little here. One of the other nice things about foam board is it takes paint very, very well. So if you decided that you wanted to paint this or do something along those lines, you could very easily decorate it so it's not just white foam board. I will probably be doing that at a later time. I'm not going to do a video on that, just simply because what I decide I want to do for decoration might be completely different from what you decide. It's kind of dealer's choice there. So we can set this up on the edge here. Make little knots there. And if you got to do a couple of cuts to get it even, that is okay. The Loctite seems to not be wanting to bond very well on the bottom, but that's okay because I got what I really needed from that, which was the measurement here so that I actually come over here. So I will probably end up using a little bit of hot glue. So now I've got that one done. I can go ahead, I can move on over to my other side. One thing to keep in mind when you do this is you definitely don't want to complete all four sides before you put in the base or before you finish off with the top. And you'll see how the top goes on there here in a little bit. So there's my outside. And here we go with my inside. There's some Loctite on the outside. Okay, so I have my hot glue gun heating up now. So we will be able to use that when we get ready to actually put this on the base. The secret to that is we don't want the hot glue to be on the rolling field because that will interfere with the integrity of our rolls. And the idea behind making this is to give us more control over where our dice go and what they do anyways. So if we didn't have integrity in our dice rolls inside the mat, then it would essentially be pointless. Got a little too much. Okay. And there we go. So there is my two sides. So far, this is what we're looking at. It's already starting to take some nice shape to it. So we want to take one of our ones. We're going to start with the back. Sometimes if you start your corners and you peel towards the middle, you get a bit cleaner of a there we go. Okay. A bit cleaner of a peel. So, and now if I did my pre-measures right, this piece should line up pretty much spot on the inside. And it's just a little too big because I didn't account for the other part here. So That's easy. We'll just take about 1/4 of an inch off. And if I can find my ruler, there it is. I always recommend using metal tools to the extent possible, just because they hold true better. And so we'll go 1/4 inch. And there we go. So now, take that, put it back there. Take our front, or our back, rather, put it here. We should be able to slide that up. And there is my baby. She is letting you know that her daddy is on a video. It is so exciting for her. And I've still got some Loctite on here. So waste not, want not. Also, it'll make it easier to clean my knife later, if I get most of this off of here. And same thing as before. You want to get it pushed on there. And take our knife. And come right down. And then we will repeat this process for the front. And it really doesn't matter which one of these is the front and which one is the back. Just as long as you've got 2 of each. And we already know that our number 2, we got to take 1/4 inch off of that. So we'll go ahead and do that since we've still got the paper on here. It is a little bit easier to do your cuts and your markings with the paper on than if you're just trying to go straight up through the foam. Now, and this should fit nice and snug right in here. Throw some Loctite on this guy. and give us a cut. And there we go. So now my hot glue gun should be just about heated up. Got a little bit of space here. So we will come right down here. Nice bead of hot glue. Take our side. There's one. And we'll repeat this process on the other side. And take our other side and get it right on here. And there's that. And we'll go across here. Nice healthy dose there. Get it down. Give us a push. And one more time. And the reason for this one that I'm doing the hot glue on the wall instead of the base is because if you look, you can see that the base kind of comes in a little bit too far. And I wanted to make sure that I get good adhesion. I don't want this thing falling apart the first time I go to use it. So now we've got our tray, and we're going to get the top so that it can slide in. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some of our scrap that we've got, because I don't like to be wasteful when it comes to this type of stuff. And we're just going to go and we're going to square it off. Set that off to the side, grab my ruler. And then right here. And I'm going to make 2 of these. One of them I need to come 1/8 of an inch in. These are very, very small cuts that I'm making. And the idea here, we want this to be the width of our wall, but we need the height so that we can actually come up and over and build our latch. It's only going to be this wide. So here we go with that. And I'm just going to go ahead and use the hot glue since I've got that already warmed up. Go ahead and get it flush in here. I'm going to get it flush in here. Go ahead and square off here. Sometimes it's easier just to line it up with where it's at and make your cuts there without getting an exact measurement. So now we go one side and the other. We'll go ahead and get this guy pushed in, and we're going to pull this tray back so that we don't accidentally glue to the tray. And the idea here is we want to make sure that we're able to get the tray underneath. So we can sit that nice and flat like that. And that should set pretty quickly. And that slides in pretty good. Just like that. I don't think we necessarily need to do one on the bottom because that holds pretty well. But what we are going to do is we're going to take our whole portion of our hole saw and we're going to come right down here and we're just going to make a little dealie here, and I should be able to cut this out with the X-Acto knife. No. So I will be right back. I have got to grab my drill. Alright, so put the whole saw back together. And we put it in here. So just like before, we want to make sure that when we're doing this on top of the table or something like that, that we're pretty careful. There we go. Got a little bit of a breakthrough, but we can cut that off here. Clean that up a little bit. Don't want any nasty splinters going on. And there we have it. So now I should be able to take this guy and just slide home right in there. And there we go. This is pretty solid. It does come up just a little bit on the end, but when you're transporting this, you're probably going to be transporting it flat, not up on its end. And all you need to do is be secure enough to keep your dice in place. So there we go. There is a budget dice tray. Total cost to make this, if you had to buy everything, you're looking at less than $5. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like, subscribe, share, let your friends know. My goal right now is still to get to 100 subscribers. I am well on my way, but every additional subscriber helps. So please share it wide. Leave a comment. Let me know what else you would like to see worked on. If you've got any inspiration for a project, let me know. Send me a link, and we'll see if we can do it in a budget style. Until next time, this is Chris with the Budget Dungeon, and have a great day.